أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Jazakallah for coming on time. May I remind students of the rules? I hope you're all in wuzu. Girls, you have a dupatta or headscarf on your head. And boys, ensure that you have a cap or topi covering your head. So today is just a revision lesson of yesterday. And yesterday you learnt the rules of madda, and today we'll be applying them. Children, if you're by yourselves, can I please suggest that you have a parent or an older sibling who has read the Quran to help you, because today's lesson will be a little bit tricky. There's lots of rules and lots to memorize, and it will really help if you have an older sibling or parent with you. So we'll proceed towards the prayers before starting. Assalamu alaikum, co-host.
Walaikum salam.
Could I please have the first participant to read this?
Yes, sure. Our first participant is A5326.
Okay, Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
How are you?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, could you start with the awwaz and tasmiyah, please?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Jazakallah. And it's from here, please.
ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم.
Jazakallah. And the translation, please?
Oh Lord, except from us, from your all having, all knowledge.
Good. Just this bit again. For you are from here.
For you are all having, all knowing.
MashaAllah. And this is from?
Al-Baqarah 128.
Jazakallah. You read beautifully, MashaAllah. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Okay. So we're going to now go to our lesson. As I said before, it's a continuation of yesterday's lesson. So it's a little bit tricky because it's an implementation of all the rules we learnt yesterday. So in this lesson, there's going to be a lot of scrolling up to refer back to the rules. Now, if you have Hafiz Saab's book, you can refer to this page again and again and again, just to make sure you know those rules really well. So what I'll do is I'll have a participant and we'll go through reading this word as it is and then reading it in waqf, or imagine there's a pause at the end, and how that would change the word. So in some instances, the word changes, and in some instances it doesn't. Now where it doesn't change is where there is a madda at the end, a letter of madda. Oh, we'll see, I think, as we go ahead. I think it's best just to practice as opposed to just explaining the theory. So co-host, if I could have the first participant, please.
Yes, sure. Our first Nasirat is N6309.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you?
Good.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. Could you start with the awwaz and tasmiyah, please? Okay, good. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to explain to you the first rule. And for that, I'm going to go back to the top because you learnt this yesterday. Now look at rules 1, 2, and 3. They explain to you that if you have this word, dhalika, and it ends with a ga, if you want to stop, all you need to do is take off this ga and turn it into a sukoon. So it's going to change into dhalik. Okay, so from dhalika to dhalik. Similarly, on number 2, if you have the word yawmi, if you want to read it in waqf or you want to put a stop at the end, you take off the kasra. I'm going to put my hand over it. And it's going to be read as, are you able to tell me? What's the word here? What will that be? How do you pronounce this?
Yawma.
Yeah, So this is yawmi, and this will be read as yawm. So it will change. Similarly, rule number 3, if you have a dhamma at the end, so this word is na'budu, but if you want to read it in waqf or with the pause at the end, all you do is take off the dhamma. So it's na'bud. Okay? So these 3 I'm grouping together because they're similar rules. All you're doing is taking off the last haraka or the last sign, like so, where I'm putting my hand, and you're replacing it with a sukoon. And if you read here, that's exactly what it's saying. Fatha will change into sukoon, kasra will change into sukoon, and dhamma will change into sukoon. So it's quite straightforward. And now what we'll do is we'll apply these very rules in the new exercise that we're tackling today. So I'm going to show you some of these rules, and you just tell me, you read to me how they are in continuation, so as they are, and then how you think they'll be read if there's a pause at the end. I will lead and you can follow, but in some, if you want, I can ask you if you're confident enough and you can read yourself as well. So I wouldn't worry. Okay, where shall I go first? Let me have a look. Okay, bear with me a second. Okay, I don't know if you can see clearly, hold on. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, what's this one here? I will say it first, and then you just follow. Ra'a'u.
Ra'a'u.
Good, yes, that's right. Yeah, ra'a'u.
Ra'a'u.
Ooh, good. Now, if I were to put, if there was a stop sign at the end, this dhamma comes off, and it's changed into a sukoon. And look, the answer is right below. And it's read ra'au. Can you see?
Ra'a'u.
Very good, very good. Okay, let me just find another example. Here we are. So this one here is read like this. Ayn al-qitri. Can you say that?
Ayn al-qitri.
Very good. And now imagine if there's a pause at the end. This kasra here is taken off. I'm just hiding it with this white hand. And it's going to be read like Ayn al-qitr. Can you repeat?
Ayn al-qitr.
Yeah, well done. And we'll do one more, and this directly below. At the end of this word, we have a dhamma. So if I'm going to read it as it is, with no change, it will be read yasha'u. Can you repeat?
Yasha'u.
Good. And now I will ask you, if there's a pause here, I'm going to put this hand over the dhamma, and imagine on the dhamma there's a sukoon. Okay, so how do you think that will be read?
Yasha.
Very nice, mashallah. Very good. I would just elongate this sha a little bit more because it's a long elongation. So it would be yasha. Have a go.
Yasha.
Very good. I think we'll just do one more. And it will be this one here.
No.
So, yes, have a go.
No. Dia.
Yes, that's read how it is. Well done. And now what about if there's a waqf at the end or a stop? How would you read that?
No. Di.
Yes, well done. MashaAllah. And all you did there is you put a sukoon on the ya. So you took the haraka off, or you took the fatha off, and you changed it into a sukoon, and you read it as nudi. Very good, mashallah. Jazakallah for your participation. Khuda Hafiz.
Jazakallah.
حسنا الجزاء. Okay, خدافظ. Okay, so could I have the next participant, please?
Yes, sure. A5344.
Okay, A5344, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm well. Jazakallah for asking. Okay, did you understand what the previous participant was reciting? Did you understand the rule?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we're going to be doing the same thing, and it's the same rule, what numbers 1, 2, and 3, and we're taking up the haraka and replacing it with a sukoon. So let's see which ones I'll give you for practice. Let's have a look. Could you read this as it is, please? Or could you start with the awwaz and tasmiyah, please?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Okay, good.
والفجر
Yes, and in waqf?
والفجر والفجر.
Yes, well done. Okay, let me go to another one. What about this one? Can you read it as it is first?
التركن كيا
Yeah, slow it down and read it again for me, please.
التركيا
Good. At-taraqiya, that was well read. And now could you read it as it would be with a sukoon?
التركي.
Very good. Very good. You replaced this last fatha with a sukoon. I would just say to make this 2 seconds long. So while we're learning stop signs, let's not forget the rules that we did before. This is a 2-second elongation. If you could try again. At-taraqi.
التراكي.
MashaAllah. Very good. Let's try another one with you. What's this one as it is?
نودي.
Yes. And in waqf?
نودي.
Very good. Beautiful, mashallah. Well done. You read very, very well. Jazakallah.
Hafiz.
Al-Hafiz. Okay. I think we'll do another participant on this rule before we move to the next one. So could I have another participant, please, co-host?
Yes, our next participant is N6332.
Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Are you ready to recite?
Yes.
Okay, great. So ta'awudh and tasmiyah, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Okay. Are you understanding the lesson so far?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Right. Can you recite this one as it is?
Okay. يشاء.
Good. And now in waqf? So with a pause at the end?
يشاء.
Very good. Could you say that again?
يشاء.
Good. All I need to hear is a little bit of a jerking sound at the end because of this hamza. Because it has a, if it's a waqf, imagine that this dhamma is changed into sukoon. So it needs to have a jerking sound, a very light one. So it needs to be yasha. You
Okay.
try?
يشاء.
Very nice. Now, what's this one?
أين
Very good trying. I like how you made this qaf sound thick. Very good. And now can you read the same word again but in waqf?
Okay.
And what about this? What happens to this?
And
That's
we
raw.
do a jerking sound.
No jerking sound on the raw. All that happens is that the re is taken off and this turns into a r. So it would be Ain al-Qitr. Try. Yes, you're right. It is a bit tricky to pronounce. Qitr. That's right. You did it beautifully, mashallah. Okay, we'll try and do one more. Have a go with this one as it is.
رآه
Good. And what about in Waqf?
رأى
Try again. Remember this dhamma changed to a sukoon.
رأى
And the answer's just below here in pink to help you.
رأى
So it's ra'aw.
رأوا
Yeah, because this changes into a sukoon. So it's a soft elongation. Do you remember? Like a waw leaf?
Yes.
Yeah, you remember. So this waw with a sakin, and before it, if you have an alif, it's a 2-second rule, a 2-second soft elongation. Aw, ra'aw.
رأوا
Very good, mashallah. Keep practicing. That was very well read. Jazakallah.
جزاك الله
Allah Hafiz.
الله حافظ.
Okay. What we'll do now is I'm just going to go up and we will go to a new rule. So right now we looked at how fatha, kasra and dhamma in waqf, all that happens is they're replaced with a sukoon. Now I'm going to move on to rule 4. And here it says tanween of kasra will change into sukoon. So basically, this word makhtumin in waqf, this comes off the kasra tanween and it's replaced with a sukoon, and here we have makhtum. And the example of the exercise that we're doing, I'll show you the example of that. It's here. So, co-host, could I have another participant, please?
Yes, A5360.
Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Could you start with Dawud, please?
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Okay. So, did you understand the rule of the fatha dhamma kasra changing to sukoon?
Yeah.
Good. I think that was nice and easy and quite straightforward. So now we're going to do a new rule, and it applies in this table just to this one here. So could you
Okay.
recite this as it is?
Juva in
So try one more time.
Jua in
Nearly, it's ju'in.
Ju in
Good. And what do you think happens in waqf when there's a stop sign put here? How would you recite that?
Jua.
So what you do is basically this, where my white hand is, this kasra tanween is taken off, and it's just taken off, so it's read ju. Have a go. Yes. So you can imagine that there's a sukoon placed on here, which means you don't make any noise. You don't make the in sound anymore. Sukoon is like silent. So the ayn is just pronounced as just a noise from the throat. So you would say ju. Have a go.
Ju.
Good. So if you see a kasra tanween here, it's just taken off and replaced with a sukoon. Okay, so now because you just did the one rule, I'll practice another one with you as well. And we'll go back to the top. So there's a lot of scrolling in this lesson. And we'll go to rule 5. And it's this one. If you have this word, Qur'anun, and you put good, and you put a waqf at the end, it will be read as Qur'an.
Quran.
Good. So it's just telling you that the tanween, Dhamma tanween, is going to be changed into a sukoon. So it's no longer Qur'anun, it's Qur'an. Okay?
Quran.
Very good. We're going to go to a few examples of this in our lesson below, so you can practice. And I think this is one, just bear with me. Okay. So here again, in this letter, on the last one, we have a Dhammatain or Dhamma tanween. So could you read this to me as it is?
Muhiatun.
Nearly. It's just muhitun.
Muhitun.
Now, in Waqf, this Dhamma tanween comes off. So how would you read this?
Muhit.
Good, but yes, you're right. So try that again.
Muhita.
Well, we wouldn't say a ta, we would just recite the letter to. And remember, it's
To.
thick. So it would be recited as muhit.
Muhit.
Very good. Okay, let's try another one. Right. What about this one? Can you read it as it is?
Istaburakun.
Yeah, almost. Very good. Istabraqun.
Istabarakun.
Good. And now in Waqf, this Dhammatain comes off and is replaced with a sukoon. So how would you recite this?
Istabaraka.
Very good, mashallah. You remembered your jerking sound or qalqala on the qaf. So that was very good. So istabraq. Very good. And here we have another one. How would you recite this as it is?
Lawa. Ki'un.
That's right. Lawaqi'un. And how would you recite it?
Iko.
Un.
Un.
And how would you recite it in Waqf?
Lawa. Iko. Un.
Have another go. Remember, there's a Waqf here, so this Dhammatain comes off and is replaced with a sukoon. So try that again.
Lawa. Ki'u.
Nearly, you're so close. It would be lawaqi'.
Lawaqi'a.
Yes, so we need to make sure that no sound of oo comes out from this oo. It's just lawaqi'.
Lawaqi'a.
Good. Very well read. And let's go to this last one here. Again, we have a Dhammatain or a Dhamma tanween at the end. How would you read this with no change?
Tif'un.
Yes. And now with the Waqf, how would you read it?
Tif'u.
Well, it's a tricky one because have another go. Yes, it is tricky. This is not an ayn, it's a hamza. And imagine hamza with a sukoon on it. There needs to be a very small jerking sound. So it would be diff. Yes, that's right. So just imagine a sakin here, a sukoon, diff. Good. Now what I'll do, just to ensure that we don't forget the rules we've just learnt previously, I'll just ask you to recite this one as it is. So remember, in this rule, with a fatha, dhamma, or kasra at the end, this dhamma changes into a sukoon. So have a read of this as it is. Yes, good. And now, if there's a sukoon at the end, Oh, sorry, a waqf at the end. How would you read it?
Ra'a.
The answer's just here if you need help.
Ra'a. Ra'au.
Very good, mashallah. Ra'au. Yes, you just put a sukoon onto it. Okay, jazakallah. You did very well. Khudafis.
Khudafis.
Okay, great. Co-host, could I have the next participant, please?
Yes, N6316.
Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. Jazakallah for asking. Okay, so I'm going to do a new rule with you. While I scroll up, could you recite the awuz and tasmiyah, please?
Okay. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim.
Good. Now I'm going to do rules 6 and 7 with you. And what you do here is you have your vertical sign. So you have a vertical kasra at the end of here and an inverted dhamma here. And basically these, if you remember from past lessons, these needs to be elongated or extended for up to 2 seconds. So this one would be, if you don't repeat now, I'll explain, and then when we go to the lesson, then you can practice. Now let me just explain this bit. This is Rasulihi, and what happens here, let me just explain, and then you'll practice later. So what happens here is in waqf, this he gets changed into a sukoon, and it would be Rasulih. And similarly, on rule 7, you have yarahu, but in sukoon, this hu, this inverted dhamma comes off, and it's changed into sukoon yarah. So I'm going to group these two rules together because they're quite similar. It's just the ishbaya letters or the 2-second elongation are changed into a sukoon. So we're going to practice that. Right. Going to find where it is. Bear with me a second. Right. Could you read this one as it is, please?
Okay. Qur'anahu.
Good. And how about in waqf?
Qur'anah.
Very good, mashallah. Very good. I'm going to go back to rules number 1, 2, and 3, where the fatha dhamma kasra is changed into a sukoon. So could you read this one as it is? With no change. Just read it as it is.
At-taraqi.
Nearly, what you did is you read it in sukoon. So you read it right, but I'd like you to read it how it is first. So it's at-taraqiya.
At-taraqiya.
Good. And then how would you read it in sukoon? You did it first time.
At-taraqi.
Yes, very good. It just needs to be a slightly longer. So this ra needs to be a bit longer, and the qi needs to be just 2 seconds as well. So have a go like this. At-taraqi.
At-taraqi.
Very good, mashallah. Okay, I'm going to give you one more, and we're going back to the rule that you have been learning. So which is to change the ishbaya letters into a sukoon. So if you read this one as it is.
Na'amahu.
Very good. You remember to extend for 2 seconds. So now read it in sukoon, please.
Na'amah.
Very good. It was quite easy, don't you think?
Yes.
Quite easy to remember. Okay, now I'm going to give you rules 1, 2, and 3. So changing fatha dhamma kasra into a sukoon. And we're going to read this one as it is, please.
Lam yantahi.
Yes. And how would it be read in waqf?
Lam yantah.
Very good, mashallah. Let's give you another one. What about this one? We looked at this a few minutes ago with another participant. How would this be read as it is?
Khu'in.
Nearly is ju'in. Good. And in Waqf?
Ju.
Very good, mashallah. And explain what you did. What did you do to make it change?
So basically, I changed the word inverted the ma into a sukoon.
Yeah. Well, yes, I understand what you did, but it was the kasra tanween. So I know what you meant. You changed the kasra tanween into a sukoon, and you rightly did so, mashallah. Now let's go back to rules 1, 2, and 3. So changing fatha dhamma kasra into a sukoon, and I'll take you to this. This will be your final one. So read this as is, please.
Nudiya.
Yes, and in Waqf?
Nudi.
Good, mashallah. It looks like you've been understanding the lesson very well. So jazakallah for your participation. Well done. Allah Hafiz. Okay. Co-host, could I have the next participant, please?
Yes, our next participant is A5355.
Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa
Walaikum salam. Okay. Could you recite Tawbuz and Tasmiyah, please?
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim.
Okay, good. So I'm going to explain to you Rule 8. If I could ask you not to recite just now, when we get down to the exercise, then you can practice. So this exercise is all about this letter here. This letter here, if you remember, is called Ta marbuta. This word reads musfiratun as it is, but if you want to add a pause at the end or waqf at the end, it will be read as musfirah. And all we're doing is taking off this dhammatain or dhamma tanween and changing it into a sakin. So this ta marbuta, as it's called, will change into ha sakina, or just ha with a sakin. And this is what we're going to practice in the exercise. Let me find which ones we are on. Okay. So could you please read this one as it is?
Wamra'atan.
Very good. And now how would you read it in Waqf?
Wamra'at. Wamra'a.
Nearly. What we're doing is we're taking off quite a lot actually. There's two things you're taking off. First, you're taking off this sign, the dhamma tanween sign, the an, and you're also taking off the two dots. So you're changing it from a ta into a ha. Ha with no noise either. So it can't be a ha. It needs to be just a ha sound. So this would be wamra'atan, and this would change to wamra'ah. So if you can read it well, you read it well as it is, and the answer below is in pink just to help you. So if you read it again in Waqf.
Wamra'ah.
Yes, very good, mashallah. Here's another example. If you read it as it is, please.
Wishawatun.
Good. And in Waqf.
Wishawah.
Very good, mashallah. Let's try and find another example for you. What's this one as it is?
Manatan.
Good. And in Waqf?
Manah.
Yes. And this one?
An-nash'atan.
Well, nearly. And again, please?
An-nash'ata.
Yes, that's right. And what about in Waqf?
An-nashlah.
An-nash'ah. Yes, you're right. An-nash'ah. And explain to me what you did here when you changed it into Waqf.
I took away the fatha and changed it into a sukuna.
Yes, but you took away something else rightly as well.
The two dots on the there.
Yes, you're right. So you took off the fatha and the two dots, and you change it into a ha sakina, or a ha with a sakin. An-nash-ah. Very good. Okay. Now we'll look at some previous rules with you as well. How would this be read as it is?
Ju-in.
Good. And in waqf?
Ju.
Very good, mashallah. What about this one?
Ra'awu.
Yes, good. And in waqf?
Ra'awu.
Very good, mashallah. Let me just come back to this one. We'll finish on this one for you.
Wamra'atan.
Good. And in waqf?
Wamra'ah.
Good, mashallah. Good. Are you understanding the lesson so far?
Yes.
Good, mashallah. I know it's lots of rules, and with so many letters, there's different rules, but I think with practice, by the time you get to the end of the Quran, inshallah, you'll remember all of them. It's just with practice, you'll get a lot better and stronger. You did very well, mashallah. Jazakallah. Khudafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Okay, co-host, could I have the next participant, please?
Yes, our next participant is N6347.
Okay, Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you?
I'm good.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, could you start with the awad and tasmiyah, please?
Yes. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Okay, so I'm just going to explain a new rule here. So don't repeat after me just yet. We'll practice it in the exercise below. So rule number 9 is a little bit tricky. Something changes, the letter looks different, and it will be read differently as well. So this word is abawaban, and in waqf it's abawaba. And what it's telling you here is that fatha with the alif will be pronounced in place of tanween. So what we're doing here is that the tanween is coming off. So abwaban would be read abwaba. So it's not too difficult if you think about it, only the tanween is coming off. So we're going to have a practice. Let's see what we can find for you. Right. Bear with me a second. Okay, how would you read this one as it is?
Makduran.
Very good. Now just remember, this is a thick letter. Well, it's not a thick letter. Ra is not a thick letter, but when it has a fatha on it, it's pronounced thick. So it's maqduran. You can repeat that. Maqduran.
Makduran.
Good. And how would you recite it in waqf?
Because it has a alif.
Yes. So could you try reciting for me, please?
Raf.
Oh, from the beginning.
Makduraf.
Nearly. So this is all right. It's just this last letter. All you're doing is taking the fathatain or fatha tanween off. I'm going to cover it with this hand, and you're going to say maqdura.
Makdura.
Yes. So the fatha tanween is replaced with a fatha ishbaya. So it's a 2-second elongation. Maqdura. Okay.
Makdu.
Yes. You can say it. Maqdura.
Makdura.
Good. We'll go to the next one. What's this one?
Bunyanan.
Yes, that's right. And how would you recite it in waqf?
Because it
You can recite it.
bunyanan.
Well, that's how you recite it in continuation. What if there's a pause at the end? You're going to take something off. You're going to be taking this dhammatain off.
You're gonna do it with the alif na.
Yes, that's right. So recite all of it.
Bunyanna.
Yeah, very good, mashallah. We just need to elongate this ya, bunyana.
Bunyana.
Good, you're getting the hang of it now, I can tell. Let's try this one as it is.
خزءا
Nearly, this is a j. Try again.
جزءا
Juz'an.
جزءا
Good. And in waqf, remember what comes off, okay?
جزءا
That's good.
جزءا
Yes. Remember, it needs to be elongated for 2 seconds. So you were right. You took off the damate, fatha tanween. And it needs to be elongated 2 seconds. Juz'a.
جزءا
Very good, mashallah. Let's give you another one. What's this one?
أقلا لما
Yes, good. And in waqf,
أقلا لما
that was beautifully read, mashallah. I couldn't correct you. That was very well read. We're going to recap some rules with you now while I have you. This is the rule of numbers 1, 2, and 3, and you're taking off the fatha, dhamma, kasra at the end and replacing it with a sukoon. So if you could read this as it is first.
تراكي
So as it is, it would be read at-taraqiya. Have a go.
التراكية
Good. And how would you read it in waqf? Remember, the fatha comes off and changes into a sukoon.
and it says الترقي
You are right. All I would say is to remember the elongation. So at-taraqi.
التراكي
Good. Now remember the rule of ta marbuta changing into ha sakina. So we're going to do that here. This is a ta marbuta, and you're going to first read it as it is. Read this one.
النشلة
Ata, nearly. Ata.
النشتأ
Ata, okay. And how would you recite it in waqf?
النشلة
So this fatha and the 2 dots come off and it changes into a ha sakina. So it would be annash'ah.
النشأة
Good. We'll practice this one again. How would you read this one as it is?
مناة
Very good, mashallah. And then how would you read it in waqf?
مناة
This one needs to be read as a ha sakina. So the 2 dots are coming off. This fathatain is coming off. And all that's left of this is just the h sound. So try again.
مناة
That's beautiful, mashallah. You got it. Well done. Well done. Jazakallah for your participation. Allah Hafiz. Okay. Jazakallah. Co-host, could I have the next participant, please?
Yes, sure. A5323.
Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. And how are you?
Good.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. Could you do ta'awwuz and tasmiyah, please?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Very good. Okay. So the next 3 rules I'm going to do with you, and I'm grouping them together because they're very similar. So I'm just going to explain. Just follow for now, and then when I ask you, then you can practice. So we have 10, 11, and on the next page we have 12. I'm grouping these together because if you look at the explanation on all 3, it's the same. Look at this. There will be no change, prolongation for 2 counts. And again, there will be no change, prolongation for 2 counts. And on rule 12, we have the same. There will be no change in the pronunciation. And why is this? It's because the word is ending on a letter of madda, which is 2 seconds. So you have yas'a, yuhyi, And here, رفعنا. Do you notice at the end they're all ending in 2-second rules? You're prolonging for 2 seconds, and they're each letters of madda. It's the alif, and it's 2 seconds. If we take rule 10, yas'a,
يسعى
it's going to be read exactly the same. Yas'a.
يسعى
If we take rule 11, yuhyi, have a go.
يحيي
Yep, it's going to be read exactly the same. Yuhyi.
يحيي
Good. So there's no change. And number 12, رفعنا.
رفعنا
And how would this be read? In a waqf?
رفعنا
Yes. And has any change happened?
No.
No, exactly, because it's a letter of madda. So we're going to put this into practice. Let's have a look where it is. While I find it, it could take a while. I'm going to put you on some other rules so you're not kept waiting. So this is just a recap of the other rules that we learnt. So if you could read this as it is, please. التراقية
التكرية
التراقية.
التكراتية
So you can do it slowly with me. التراقية.
التراقية
Good. And how do you think you would read this one in a waqf? Now remember, it's rules 1, 2, and 3. So the fatha or the dhamma or the kasra, and it's a fatha in this case. The fatha comes off and is replaced with a sukoon. So how would you say that?
التراقي
Yes, very good, mashallah. Be mindful of your elongation. So it's at-taraqi. Have a go.
التكري
At-taraqi. Good. Now we're going to go on to this one, another recap. What's this letter here?
1 minute.
Okay. So those who are listening at home, this letter is a ta marbuta with a fathatain on it. It will be pronounced tan. And together it's recited as manatan. But in waqf, that's right, manatan. So in waqf, lots of it comes off, not just the sign of un, but also the 2 dots come off, and it's changed into a ha sound. So could you say it in waqf, please? You can do it with me. Mana.
Mana.
Good. Let's find another one for you. This is one we did with the previous participant just a few minutes ago. This rule here, where there's a fathatain and an alif, as it is, it will be read mansuran. Can you say that?
Mansuran.
But in waqf, what happens is that the fathatain or the fatha tanween comes off, and it's replaced by a vertical fatha, and you need to hold it for 2 seconds. So have a go.
Mansuran.
Mansura.
Mansura.
Good. And the same rule again. I'm going to take you here. Have a go. Read this as it is.
Lak lalib.
Aklallaman.
Laklalman.
You can read it with me.
Ak.
Lal.
Lal.
Lamma. Sorry, lamman.
Lam.
Okay. And now if you read it in Waqf, what happens is this tanween comes off and you're going to replace it with a fatha ishbaya or 2-second elongation only. So have a go. You can read it with me. Ak,
Ak.
lal.
Lal.
Now, instead of lamman, we'll read it lamma.
Lamma.
Good. We're going to go back. This will be your last one. We're going to go back to rules 1, 2, and 3, which was changing the last letter to fatha dhamma kasra. And you're going to, you're changing the last letter of fatha dhamma kasra into a sukoon. So if you read this one as it is,
Wal Kajir.
so wal fajri.
Wal Fajri.
Good. And now this re comes off and it's replaced with a sukoon on the ra. So how would you read it?
Wal Fajr.
Very good, mashallah. Very, very good. You took the re off and replaced it with a sukoon to make wal fajr. And that's the name of a surah in the Quran as well, Surah Fajr. Okay. Jazakallah for your participation. You did very well, especially at the end when I know you understood it very well, mashallah. Okay. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah.
Allah Hafiz.
Hafiz.
Okay. Could I have the next participant, please?
Yes, N6338.
Okay. Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
How are you?
Very cool.
Alhamdulillah. Are you ready to recite?
Yes.
Okay, good. If you could do ta'awudh and tasmiyah, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Okay, good. So with you, I'm going to do, I'm just thinking which rule. Okay, we're going to do rule number 13. Now, I will explain in my own words for now, and then once we go to the exercise, then you can go and practice.
Okay.
So, rule 13, we have this word, al-a'la. Sorry, it's al-a'la, as it is. But in Waqf, it will be pronounced al-a'la. Al-a'la, sorry. So, fatha, this one here, will turn into a vertical fatha. And that's only if you have a blank letter. So this letter, this curly sign here is actually a ya, and it's a blank ya because it has nothing on it. It's called alif maksura.
Okay.
So if after fatha you have this blank letter, this fatha in waqf, or when you stop, will turn into a vertical fatha or fatha ishbaya, and you need to prolong it for 2 seconds. So can you say these 2 words with me? This is in continuation. Al-a'la, al-a'la.
Al-a'la.
And in waqf, al-a'la.
Al-a'la.
And again, al-a'la.
Al-a'la.
Very good. Okay, so I'm going to take you to the exercise. And I'll tell you which line it's going to be on. Bear with me 1 second. Okay. Okay. So what's this one as it is?
Bala.
Good. Now remember what rule we learnt? This fatha followed by this, which is called alif maksura. The fatha comes off in waqf and it's replaced by a vertical fatha which is held for 2 seconds. So what would this be?
Bala.
Very good, mashallah. Beautifully read. Very good. Bala changes to bala. Good. Now bear with me while I just find another one.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to go to the top. What would this one be as it is?
Tulaka.
Yes. Remember, it's a tashdeed, so you have to hold on here. Sit on this car for 2 seconds. La tulaqqa.
Asulaka.
Good. And how would you read it? In Waqf. And the answer is just below to help you.
Latulaka.
Very good. Could you just elongate it just 1 more second? So it's la tulaqqa.
Latulaka.
Very good, mashallah. Mashallah. I'm going to give you one more example because the time is short now. So what would this one be as it is?
Sahudaru.
Now try again. Read it. Take it slowly.
Saru.
Tahtazu. And you know what? I think I've gone ahead. I've given you the wrong rule accidentally. Just bear with me. Okay, I'm supposed to give you the one up ahead, which you have done. Let me just give you a recap one. So we'll go to the top one. So this will be your last one here. So this is a recap of rules 1, 2, and 3, where the fatha dhamma kasra at the end changes to a sukoon. So if you read this one as it is,
Ra'awu.
good, ra'a'u, and then this dhamma is changed into a sukoon. So how would that be read?
Ra'aw.
You nearly got it. I can tell you nearly got it. It would be ra'au.
Ra'aw.
Good. It's just there to help you. Okay, you did very well, mashallah. Keep practicing. Jazakillah. Khuda Hafiz. Okay, so with that, we'll conclude the lesson. We only got through a few rules, and I know it's quite tricky, and I really think practice makes perfect. So do keep practicing. So we'll go to the end prayers. Co-host, if I could have a participant, please.
Yes. A5313.
Jazakallah. Wa alaikum salam. Could you do ta'awuz and tasmiyah, please?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Okay, have a go here.
Allahumma hamni bil Qur'anil Azim.
Good. And here?
Waj'alhuli ma
Mawwa
Mawwa
Nurawwa
Nurawwa
Hudanwa
Hudanwa
Rahmah.
Rahmah.
Good. Jazakallah. Are you able to read the translation for me?
Yes.
Okay, go on.
Oh Allah, have mercy through me.
On
through
me?
Through the great Quran, and make it for me the leader, the light, the guidance, and the mercy.
Jazakallah. Hafiz. Okay, we'll quickly go to the homework. So homework is to practice the first 4 lines of this table here. So I gave you mixed rules before. Now you're going to take it row by row and do the first 4 lines. This is today's homework. And then for the weekend, if you can keep practicing. So you need to learn as many rules as possible for Saturday and Sunday, exactly the same. If you have Hafiz's book, the reference is page 85 to 87. And now it's 7 o'clock, so our class has come to an end. Jazakallah for your participation and for listening. I hope you enjoyed the class. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.